He-Man is coming back to the big screen, and there's a War Games teaser trailer. Also, Liquid Television from the early 90s is back, and we've got all that news and more coming up. What up to my peoples? Welcome back to Retro Crunch, your nostalgia news show that is all about current pop culture, movies, music, and games that relates to all things 70s, 80s, and 90s. Alright, so it looks like He-Man, which is a hugely popular cartoon from the 1980s, may finally be coming to the big screen. And according to TheWrap.com, David Goyer will be directing the new He-Man movie himself. Now this is exciting news, because Mr. Goyer is also known for the storylines of Man of Steel, The Dark Knight Rises, and Batman vs. Superman, so he's got some pretty good writing to his name. But where he worries me a bit is his directing. Maybe it's just me, but the only real movie that I remember him directing was BLADE TRINITY, and he did horrible with that. But hey, I'll give this guy a shot at it anyway. I'm just glad that we're moving along with getting the He-Man movie made. And y'all remember, the first He-Man movie came out in 1987, and it was not well received by moviegoers. But to its defense, even though it did star Dolph Lundgren as He-Man, the interest in He-Man was already starting to slow down. So by the time that it hit theaters, there wasn't many people interested in seeing it. I did like the look of Skeletor from the 1987 flick, but his voice was all wrong, and with the storyline using the same tired tropes of going through a portal to present-day Earth to stop an evil being from taking it over, was getting really played out. Let's hope that this new reboot will keep He-Man in his own universe and try to save Eternia or something. And next up, there's a trailer for what sorta might not really be a reboot trailer for War Games. From what I saw, it's going to be a cross between a hacker movie and a choose-your-own-adventure book, so I'm not really going to get my hopes up about it. And the trailer was so confusing that I had no idea what I was really looking at.
Shall we play a game?
It does look like an interesting concept though, and you can see some of the creator's other movie shorts to get an idea of how this movie/choose-your-own-adventure works. And you can make your own decision. Now the original movie from 1983 that starred Matthew Broderick and Ali Sheedy, that one was excellent. And if you haven't seen it already, you need to go watch it. But the jury's out on this new one because there's just not enough information on it. And for those that remember Liquid Television, it's an MTV show that was from the 90s that was responsible for introducing us to hit shows like Beavis and Butthead and Aeon Flux. Well, if you're interested in this show, head on over to the Internet Archive at archive.org and you can watch all 27 episodes of the show in its original form. The quality is not that great, but it's definitely watchable and will bring back some of the nostalgia for those that like the show. I'll link to the page down below as well. And then some of you might be following Corey Feldman's current attack on Hollywood. Well, before all of that, there used to be a well-known duo of Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. These two were inseparable back in the 80s, 90s. And the Lifetime channel is putting out a biopic about their earlier years. It's called The Tale of Two Coreys, and it's going to debut on the Lifetime channel on January 6th, 2018. And it focuses on the beginning of Corey Feldman and Corey Haim's careers, as well as going into some of the dark times that both of them faced as young stars. Feldman is one of the producers on the movie and insists that the movie will stay true to what really happened and not be exaggerating the version of the truth. Whether this will be true is hard to tell, but I'll tune in regardless just to see what happens. Also, I found a cool Best Buy flyer from 1994 that does a great job of showing how popular technology was back then. And it also shows the prices to go along with it. I remember getting a 14.4 modem back in the day, and that's also in there. That's something that I remember buying back when BBSing was really popular. And last thing on this day in history, on December 8th, 1995, the Grateful Dead announced that they were breaking up the band. This came just a few months after their lead guitarist and vocalist Jerry Garcia had passed away. The band had a huge following and there's still millions of fans to this day. Alright Retroheads, that's all the retro news that I have for you this week. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe to the channel right down there. We talk about nostalgia and retro stuff every Monday, and I do a weekly retro news show every Friday. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you in the next video. And remember, if it ain't retro, it ain't worth watching.